Part 17. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 161. Chapter 161, The Road to Finding a Husband 15. Mu Qingjian looked at the ground that had been dug up cleanly. There was basically nothing good left. She had also taken care of all the treasures on the map. So she asked Dandan and Bingfen to search for rare treasures. She found a secret place to practice. After all, the place was full of aura. During the few days of her practice, she vaguely felt that her cultivation level had improved a lot. Suddenly, a breath rushed towards her, and she was bitten by a little fox before she could react. "Hey, what the is this?" He picked up the little fox biting his finger and shook it away. "I am nothing, I am a divine beast, and you dare to despise me?" The nine-tailed white fox looked up at her proudly. Mu Qingjian raised its neck and said, "Ah, you can actually speak. It's pretty cool. It's like a mythical beast." It hugged its paws unconvinced and said, "I am a divine beast. Don't look down on me and put me down quickly." She had no choice but to put it down. "Why are you biting me?" The nine-tailed white fox calmed down after being messed up by her contract. "I, the human being, Lord Ninetails, have taken a liking to you, so just be my subordinate." "Ah, let me be your subordinate. Are you sure you are not my spiritual pet?" The nine-tailed white fox was so angry that his fur instantly exploded. "I am a nine-tailed fox divine beast. You, a human, still want to be my master? You are so brave." "Really? Nine-tailed fox divine beast, why do I feel that you are weak? The aura of the divine beast is not like yours. You must not be lying to me." At this time, the nine-tailed white fox hesitated and said, Who lied to you? We divine beasts will not lie to humans. Human beings, just be my contractual subordinates." Mu Qingjian stood up and patted her clothes. "No, go find someone else. I have no shortage of spiritual pets. You, a spiritual beast that comes out of nowhere, should stay away from you." The nine-tailed white fox saw that this human being was disgusted. Seeing that she was about to leave, the nine-tailed white fox couldn't help crying anymore. "Weavua, I'm so miserable. I'm still a child, why do you do this to me? How dare you despise the beast, Weavua?" She frowned, looking at the spiritual beast holding one of her thighs and crying, and shook her head helplessly and sighed. "Tell me what you want to do." The nine-tailed white fox hugged her thigh and raised its watery eyes. "Take me out of the ancient secret realm. Someone is chasing me. I have been hiding here for 50 years. I don't want to be that person's spiritual pet. She forcibly contracted me when I was a cub. After she came here, I deliberately hid in the ancient secret realm and got rid of her after she was teleported out. Now that the ancient mystic realm is opened, I will be called back by her. I am seriously injured because I resisted her. I just met her child again, so I don't want to be taken back. Please save me." Mu Qingjian looked at its sincere eyes and knew that it was not lying. At this time, Mu Yinhan woke up and flew out of the space. "Mother, please accept it. I still need to continue practicing in seclusion. It can protect my mother." "Xiao Yunyin, you're awake, are you okay?" "Mother, I am only temporarily awake now, I will continue to sleep later." She touched his head with a distressed look on her face. "Thank you for your hard work, little Yunyin. You should have a good rest. Mom is fine." Mu Yinhan walked to Baihu. Baihu looked surprised and surrendered when he saw him. After all, he was very powerful and terrifying. He put his little hand on its head, directly breaking the spiritual contract between it and others. The nine-tailed white fox looked happy when he saw that the spiritual contract that suppressed him was broken. And a charming woman outside the ancient mysterious realm suddenly vomited a mouthful of blood, and her entire face turned pale and weak. "Damn it, who dared to forcibly break the contract between her and Baihu. Damn it! You dared to steal my spiritual beast. You don't know how to live or die. Don't let me know who it is. Mu Yunhan looked at the nine-tailed white fox sternly. I got rid of her for you. Your condition now is to submit to my mother and protect her for 100 years. If you still want to leave her after 100 years, you want to leave me, I'll let you go. The nine-tailed white fox nodded. Okay, I promise you, no problem. He then looked at Mu Qingjian and said, Mother, if I don't wake up, they will protect you, so I can sleep peacefully. Okay, little Yunyan, go and have a rest. Don't worry. My mother will protect herself. When Mu Yunhan returned to her space, the nine-tailed white fox took the initiative to make a contract with her. When the nine-tailed white fox made a contract with Mu Qingjian, it discovered that she was not an ordinary person, she was very powerful. The little boy just now turned out to be her natal beast. She also has 2 spiritual pets with levels above divine beasts. What is her background? The reason why it approached her just now was because its original owner couldn't restrain himself by staying by her side, so he shamelessly said that he wanted to be with her. I didn't expect that I would find such an awesome owner just by looking for it. What kind of bad luck did it have? Anyway, 100 years is not a problem for their spirit beasts at all. It can take a good look at whether she can let it stay by her side for a lifetime. Mu Qingjian looked at it. She knew that the fox was very smart. Since you and I have made a contract, you have to listen to me. I don't allow betrayal and deception, you know. The nine-tailed white fox nodded and said, I understand. Well, then you will be called Juhu from now on. The nine-tailed white fox frowned. Master, is my name too casual? Really, what about Erden? The corner of its mouth twitched crazily. I can't find the master. Juhu is doing well, haha. Mu Qingjian touched its fur with a look of enjoyment. Sure enough, the fox's fur was comfortable and soft. When Dandan and Bingfeng came back, they saw an extra divine beast in her arms. Dandan jumped into her arms and looked at Juhu with a look of disgust. Master, this is your new spiritual pet. It looks so weak. I'm afraid this guy is a fake divine beast. Juhu saw the black dog calling him weak and fought back unconvinced. You are weak. You ugly monster has the nerve to say that I am weak. I am a nine-tailed fox beast. When I recover, I will be more powerful than you. Dandan Mao exploded. Who are you calling ugly, you little brat? That's enough. I'll send you into space if I make more noise. I hope you can live in harmony, she couldn't help but said fiercely. Bingfeng stood on Mu Qingjian's shoulders. Master, we have almost collected it, and the ancient secret realm will be reopened soon. Okay, you and Dandan have worked hard these days, let's go. The nine-tailed white fox was unconvinced and placed the spiritual plant in his own space on the ground. Master, I gave this to you, please accept it. Are you sure you want to give it to me? It nodded. Yes, this is a meeting gift for you, the master. This time she accepted it politely. Okay, thank you Juhu. Dandan looked at the attentive Juhu and rolled his eyes in dissatisfaction. He was really a cunning fox. When it was time to gather, Mu Qingjian put them all into the space to avoid unnecessary trouble. Luo Yuling looked very ugly. Her mother asked her to look for the nine-tailed white fox, but the nine-tailed white fox suddenly terminated its contract with her mother. She was despised and scolded by her mother, and now she hates the person who stole the nine-tailed white fox. So when Luo Yuling saw her, she was a little suspicious of her. After all, she was the strongest in front of these 50 people. Mu Qingjian was speechless when she saw Luo Yuling glaring at her fiercely. When had she offended her again? End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 162. Chapter 162, The Road to Finding a Husband 16. After seeing her, the people from Xianyumen came towards her one after another. "Uncle, you are back." Mu Qingjian looked at them and smiled slightly. "Not bad. Your strength has improved a lot." Yan Cheng said respectfully, "Thanks to my uncle for all this, it's really hard for me." Yes, uncle, thank you for your hard work. Thanks to uncle, we are where we are today." The disciples of Xianyumen gathered around her, looking at her with admiring eyes, making her feel embarrassed. "You're welcome. After all, you are the future of immortal human, and I am your uncle. So I should take care of you if I can, right?" Mu Yuxiao looked at her with admiration. Sure enough, she would shine wherever she went. This was the first time he met such an informal girl. Luo Yuling felt indescribably sad when she saw him staring at her in a daze. Si Yunkin and Nangang Yuran appeared riding armored ligers. Everyone present was shocked when they saw it. Oh my God, their strength has become so high, and they have even contracted with the Holy Spirit beast. Mu Yuxiao saw that Si Yunkin was in the early stage of the purple level and was on the same level as him. He did not expect that the people from the immortal human were so powerful. Nangang Yuran took the armored liger back to the spiritual pet space and ran to her side happily. "Xiao Qingjian, you came back so quickly. Fortunately, I came a little earlier than you." Everyone gathered together, and at this time Luo Yuling walked up to her. "Miss Mu, have you ever seen a nine-tailed white fox? That is the spiritual pet that my mother asked me to find." "Sorry, I haven't seen it." Luo Yuling still didn't believe her. "I hope Miss Mu won't covet my mother's contracted spiritual pet. After all, it's better not to covet a spiritual pet that doesn't belong to you." Nangang Yuran walked up to her and said, "Luo Yuling, what are you talking about? You mean that Xiao Qingjian hid your mother's spiritual pet? Prove it with evidence. Don't make false accusations." People from Xianyumen said one after another, "That's right. Just because our uncle is strong, we can't think that she did it." Mu Yuxiao came over. "I think Miss Luo still has evidence before she speaks. I heard that the fairy saint Lu Yanyao contracted a holy spirit beast nine-tailed white fox 50 years ago. But 50 years ago, how could the sudden disappearance be related to Miss Mu?" Luo Yuling continued, "I met it today. When I wanted to take it back, it ran away. As a result, the contract with my mother was suddenly terminated after a while. Among the 50 of us, who among you has the ability to contract a holy spirit beast? I advise you to hand it over." Everyone shook their heads now. After all, there was no need to offend the fairy saint Lu Yanyao. He is at the peak of the purple level, and his strength is the same as that of the Xianyu ancestor. Now the Xianyu ancestor has advanced to the god realm. In the entire ancient world of immortals, Lu Yanyao is the most powerful. If you offend this strong man, you don't even know how he will die. Mu Qingjian didn't expect Juhu's identity to be so troublesome, but she had contracted it, and now she could only let it continue to stay in the space. But they still doubt themselves after all, and they will definitely find themselves. It seems that I can only stay secret for one day. I don't know if I can beat Luo Yuling and her mother. Luo Yuling saw that no one present acknowledged it, so she had no choice but to give it up. By the time everyone came out, it turned out that the fairy saint Lu Yanyao was already outside. She rushed over after her spiritual pet, the nine-tailed white fox, terminated the contract with her. Everyone saw Lu Yanyao appear and looked at her with respect. She was indeed the most beautiful woman in the ancient world. She is also the strongest purple level expert, and is simply the goddess of all men in the immortal ancient world. Lu Yanyao flew in front of everyone. Who among the 50 of you contracted the nine-tailed white fox? If you hand it over now, the matter will be over. Luo Yuling walked to her side and said, "Mom, they all said they have never contracted a nine-tailed white fox." Her expression changed. "Okay, step back. Whoever you want to call is Mukinjian, please come out. Nangang Yuran and Si Yunkin immediately blocked her, but unfortunately they were discovered by her, and she waved them away. Head of Chufeng quickly caught the two of them. What do you want to do, fairy saint? Why did you hurt my apprentice? So what if you're injured? With your late purple level, do you think you can beat me? You know I won't necessarily lose if I fight your master. How do you think you can compare with me? Lu Yanyao looking at him with disdain. Mukinjian walked up to her and said, I am Mukinjian. What do you want to do? What's the big deal about bullying people who are weaker than you? Lu Yanyao laughed loudly. This is a place where the strong are respected, but you actually ask such a stupid question. Tell me. Where is my nine-tailed white fox? I don't know what you said. You have no proof that I took it. Lu Yanyao's expression changed. You are looking for death. The powerful pressure from the peak of the purple level made everyone nearby kneel down. Some weak people vomited blood and fell unconscious. Purple level experts from various sects immediately took action to stop her, but they were no match for her strength. Mukinjian was knocked several meters away by her palm, and the mask on her face was shattered, revealing a beautiful face in front of everyone. Lu Yanyao saw that this woman was more beautiful than herself and could still catch his full blow. This woman must not be left behind. Mu Yuxiao was a little shocked when he saw her face. He didn't expect that she was as stunning as her strength under the mask. Mukinjian wiped the powder from her face and looked at this woman unhappily. Old woman, are you so old that you have reached menopause? You hit people when you disagree with me. Do you think you are at the peak of your purple rank? I originally wanted to be a low-key person, but you insist on me beating you, right? Kuabai, I got the white fox, what's wrong? Then Juhu was released, and it saw Lu Yanyao's expression of disgust. The master is this old woman who forced me to make a contract with her 50 years ago. She is a bad woman. I didn't expect that she would still be so ugly even after 50 years. After speaking, he looked arrogant and domineering, and touched Mukinjian's face with his paw. Have you seen this, old woman? This is my new master Mukinjian. She is much more beautiful and powerful than you. I don't want to stay with you, an old woman. I am her spiritual pet now, so you will give up bar. Mukinjian saw Juhu, who was more offending than herself. That's about it? Didn't you see her face turn dark? Juhu immediately smiled playfully. Good master, it's just that seeing her is too ugly, it affects my mood too much. Ah, when I saw your face, master, I was instantly healed. Lu Yanyao could no longer control herself. Ah, you are looking for death and you don't surrender to me, so go die. Be careful. Everyone looked at Mukinjian worriedly. Everyone thought she was dead, but she was caught. This made everyone present stunned. What kind of strength does she have now? She can actually catch Lu Yanyao's moves? Mukinjian gathered all her spiritual power in her right hand and gave her a palm, sending her flying dozens of meters away. Lu Yanyao vomited blood violently, with a look of disbelief on her face. Who are you? You are not from here. There is no one as strong as you in the ancient world. She patted the dust on her clothes and said, I am Mukinjian, the great elder of the immortal Yu sect and Ji Yuan's disciple. Your strength is not very good. It is much worse than my master. Anyway, the nine-tailed white fox has already recognized me as its master. Well, just give up. Lu Yanyao looked solemn and said, Huh, let's see. Everyone saw that Mukinjian defeated Lu Yanyao. Now everyone knew that her strength was higher than hers, and she would be the strongest fairy in the ancient world. Xianyuman is even more famous, and there is another strong man who is as strong as the ancestor of Xianyue. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Lugo Meyer. Chapter 163. Chapter 163, The Road to Finding a Husband. 17. Everyone walked up to Mukinjian and greeted him respectfully. After all, it is necessary to have good dealings with strong people. It wasn't until the head of Chu Feng and other elders entangled others for her that she was able to free herself, and then she sneaked back to Xianyu Gate. As long as anyone comes to visit her, they are told that she is in retreat and will not accept visitors. A few people later, head Chu Feng came to Mukinjian's residence and watched her lying on the bed, picking grapes with one hand to eat and fanning herself with the other. There is a book hanging in front of me, and the pages are turned automatically, so leisurely. Ahem, junior sister. Is this your retreat? When she saw him coming, she sat down with a smile. Senior brother, how come you have time to hang out at my place? You're not busy anymore. He sighed helplessly and said, you have the nerve to say that you were in seclusion when you came back from the ancient mystic realm. Now 7 days have passed, and I have sent those people away. I have taken care of everything for you, so it's better for you and feel comfortable. I'm lying here, tell me how you want to compensate me, your senior brother. Mukinjian took out grapes from the space and said, Senior brother, please eat grapes. These are rare spiritual grapes and they are quite delicious. Headmaster Chu Feng couldn't help but said, that's why I'm sending your senior brother away. You are too stingy. After speaking, he picked a grape and ate it. It turned out to be very delicious, and he ate the whole bunch. After eating, he wiped his mouth and hands unsatisfied, give me some more later, and I'll take it back to your sister-in-law. Okay, no problem. He waved his hand and placed several baskets of grapes on the ground. He even put the basket into his own space ring without any politeness at all, and then smiled with satisfaction. That's pretty much it. If there's anything else delicious, remember to leave some for your senior brother. Okay, got it? Headmaster Chu Feng asked with a smile. Junior sister went to the ancient secret realm, what kind of strength is she now? Mukinjian shook her head, I don't know, but senior brother, you can give me a crystal ball to test. Maybe I will know what level I am now. The smile on his face froze instantly, and he touched his space ring. Don't even think about it. You've harmed my 2 crystal balls. These things are very expensive, okay. By the way, at tonight's banquet, all the disciples participating in the ancient secret realm need to take out a small half of the treasures and hand them over to section. She nodded, okay, I understand. She then took out high-level spiritual plants from the space and said, these spiritual plants are for you, senior brother. Just keep them. I have my own arrangements for what the sect will hand over in the evening. Headmaster Chu Feng was so excited that tears filled his eyes when he saw a bunch of high-level spiritual plants. Thank you, junior sister, for your hard work. It's not hard work. If I didn't need to protect the other disciples, I would have picked more. He smiled awkwardly, haha, it's okay, you are already very good. He put the things into his space ring and said, junior sister, please remember the banquet in the evening. Don't forget it. Senior brother will go back first. Mukinjian saw him touching her precious ring and left happily without saying anything. Stepping into the space, he saw Juhu and Dandan lying on the vine eating grapes, their mouths full of purple. Even the feathers of the ice phoenix were dyed purple. She did not blame them. After all, the wood spirit beads would continue to produce after the grapes were eaten. The 3 spiritual pets stopped eating when they saw her, and hurriedly walked to her side, wanting to hug her. Stop hugging me, you are so dirty now, go and wash yourself. They walked to the lake with helpless expressions, took a bath, and quickly shook their hair dry. Mukinjian prepared the spiritual plants and spiritual weapons that the sect handed over in the evening. After all, the artifact given by his master is valuable, so it is not impossible to contribute to the section. Besides, as she is now a great elder, it really doesn't make sense that she can't come up with a few useful things. After getting everything ready, I changed into clothes and put on a new mask, and rushed to the banquet venue. When she saw her, the disciple standing at the door shouted loudly, "Elder Mu is here." Everyone stopped communicating one after another and looked towards the door with interest, hoping to catch a glimpse of the great elder's face. In the end, Mu Kinjian was still wearing a mysterious mask, but it was just different from the one before. People who have been to the ancient secret realm say that her appearance is more stunning than that of the fairy saint Lu Yanyeo. She was excited to see someone more beautiful than Lu Yanyeo, but ended up wearing a mask. But who dares to ask her to take off her mask? All of us can only feel a pity for a while. Due to her current noble status, her position was arranged to sit on the right side of the head of Chu Feng. Opposite her is the sex alchemy master, the great elder Keqing, who is also not weak in strength. It's just that he looked at her a little unkindly, but she remembered that she had never had anything unpleasant with him. This was the first time she had seen him. I saw him looking at her and saying, "Elder Mu is so proud. Everyone has come, but you are the only one who is dawdling. Let everyone wait for you, but Li Mao admires you." Mu Qingjian reassured her teacup, "Keqing seems to have a big opinion against me when I grow up. Do I have any grudges with you? You are the only one complaining here. Is anyone dissatisfied with my arrival? You can tell." Everyone in the audience said, "Ha ha, it's not too late for the great elder to come, it's just that we came early." "Yes, great elder, guest, the time has not come yet, the great elder is not late either." Head Chu Feng smiled and said, "Okay, since the great elder has arrived, let's start the banquet." The elder Keqing glared at her fiercely and snorted disdainfully, "Humph, no matter how old or small you are worthy of being the elder. I don't know what patriarch Xianyu sees in her. Not long after she came to the section, when you become the great elder, you have made great contributions to the section." Head Chu Feng said angrily, "Elder Keqing, she is my master's apprentice and my junior sister. If my junior sister is not there to guard the sect's disciples this time, will they be able to return home with a full load? She has contributed a lot to us. Worse than you. So I hope that Elder Keqing will be careful in his words and actions, and everyone will have sharp eyes." The second elder nodded and said, "It is true. Without the help of the great elder, junior sister Mu, my disciple Yan Chen would not be able to contract the Holy Spirit beast. Therefore, junior sister Mu's contribution is something that no one can achieve. Elder Keqing feels that this contribution isn't it still possible." Everyone talked about Mu Qingjian's contribution to the sect, leaving the elder Keqing speechless. The great elder of Keqing slammed the table, "It's simply nonsense. I won't approve of her anyway. Let me tell you bluntly today. Today, I, Li Yuanlong, will be the great elder of Keqing, or she will be the great elder. Choose one of the two." He didn't believe that the sect would not choose him because he was the only guest elder who knew how to make alchemy. Don't choose yourself. Who makes the sect's elixirs? If there are no elixirs, what will they do to distribute them to the sect's outer disciples? The few elders and the head of Chu Feng were depressed. Wasn't this forcing them to keep only one person? How can this be done? Everyone fell into deep thought. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 164. Chapter 164, The Road to Finding a Husband 1/8. Several people looked at each other and head Chu Feng, and he said slowly, "Grand Elder Keqing, Grand Elder is my master's choice. We will not give up on her. After all, her contribution to the sect is incomparable to yours. So we don't want to announce this decision. After all, the great elder Keqing has also made great contributions to the section." Li Yuanlong's face changed greatly, Very good, then I won't do this as the great elder. If you lose me, who else will you have to make elixirs for you? The head of Chu Feng sighed helplessly and said, why do you, the great elder of the guest, make things difficult for us like this? Isn't it good to live in harmony? His eyes widened angrily, this is impossible, with her without me, with me without her. Mu Qingjian smiled and clapped, and stood up slowly. Papa, that's right. It's me but not him. Then I have the honor to tell you today that you, the guest elder, are done sitting here. You can leave the immortal human. Li Yuanlong said disdainfully, who do you think you are? Just let me go. Why do you do that? She smiled coldly, why, just because I am the great elder of Xianyuman, and the token of Xianyuman is in my hand. If I tell you to get out, you have to get out, you know. Then he raised the Xianyu token and said to the others, from now on, Li Yuanlong is no longer the guest elder of the Xianyu section. He will be expelled from the sect immediately and will never enter the Xianyu section. Oh. By the way, you are sending people away like this, and they are not the guest elders of my section, then you cannot take away the sect's resources in vain and keep everything that belongs to the section. You can, leaving quickly. Li Yuanlong looked at Head Chu Feng, Head Chu, you just let her drive me out like this, can you afford me? He shook his head and didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She has the token of the immortal Yu sect, and I, as the leader, have to listen to her. Since you don't want to be a guest, please do what my junior sister said. If you hand over the things, you can leave the immortal Pylorus. Li Yuanlong waved his hand, and a bunch of messy bottles were placed on the table. You will regret it? Mu Qingjian walked up to him and said, wait, that's it? How about you send the beggar a little bit? Did you hide it secretly and hand it over to me? The immortal human gives you so many spiritual plants every month, so you don't think I can't take this little pill if you don't take it out. After speaking, he directly held his hand on his space ring, and a lot of things fell from his space. This time she looked at it with satisfaction and said, come here, you can send this person out. Several people soon took him down, and now he played himself to death. I wanted to occupy the position of great elder alone, but ended up losing my wife and losing my troops. Headmaster Chu Feng put the elixirs on the ground into a storage bag. Now that the sect has no alchemist, these elixirs will be used up. Mu Qingjian patted his shoulder and said, senior brother, please look for me. I am also an alchemist. What, when did you know how to make elixirs? Isn't it easy to make alchemy? There are pictures and instructions. Just control the temperature of the fire, she said seriously. He was unable to refute, it's up to you. If you want to learn alchemy, go to the alchemy room. While your senior brother and I haven't found an alchemist, the alchemy room will be under your control for the time being. Haha, no problem, leave it to me. He was a little doubtful whether he had done something wrong and left the alchemy room to her, and whether it would explode like a crystal ball. The banquet began, and the disciples who had participated in the ancient mysterious realm came forward to hand over various rare treasures and various spiritual plants. All the elders expressed their satisfaction. The harvest this time was indeed much better than that of 50 years ago. In particular, Yancheng, Si Yunkin and Nangang Yuran contributed a lot of spiritual plants to the sect. In the end, Mu Qingjian was the only one left. Everyone looked at her curiously, wondering what treasure she was capable of in socializing. Mu Qingjian waved her hand, and boxes of spiritual plants were placed on it. The number was double that of the other 11 people. With another wave of his hand, 2 boxes of spiritual weapons were placed on top. Everyone present was shocked. This was the place where the spiritual weapon was robbed. Head Chu Feng smiled from ear to ear, okay, haha, junior sister is really grand. The other elders expressed their gratitude and appreciation one after another. She was the only one who could achieve such selfless dedication, and now everyone respected her even more. As soon as the banquet was over, the two of them took her to Fairy City. Nangang Yuren smiled and said, "Xiao Qinjian, we will take you for a walk today. What else is there to do in the evening? Don't you need to practice?" Si Yunqian on the side said silently, "You can't practice every day. These days are the annual carnival. Immortals from all over the world sell all kinds of rare treasures, as well as strange spiritual beings beast. So everyone will come here and buy like crazy these days, so it's called carnival." "I see, then let's go quickly, don't let others rob us of all the shopping." After saying that, he disappeared in a flash. The two of them quickly followed her, and when they arrived, they saw her shopping with a vendor. Nangang Yuren walked up to her and said, "Xiao Qinjian, why did you buy this ugly spiritual plant?" Mu Qinjian put it into the space and said, "It must be useful. Let's go. What do you want to buy?" A group of 3 people were walking on a busy street. There were all kinds of things on display and they were dazzled. Basically, she would buy 1 or 2 spiritual plants that were not available in her space and plant them in her space. The 3 of them gained quite a lot. The sudden noise attracted them, and Mu Qinjian squeezed in to take a look. "I saw a naked little mermaid with a blue tail exposed in a cage. What a beautiful mermaid, with long sea blue hair and dark blue eyes. Her skin is very white and her facial features are delicate and beautiful. So they are robbing this little mermaid, and most of the people robbing him are women, but of course there are also a lot of men." The prices were getting higher and higher one by one. She looked at it with some pity. It was a child about the same age as Xiao Xiaoyui. He was caught and sold on land. What a poor little guy. The mermaid raised her head and glanced over, and saw Mu Qinjian. When the bid reached 100,000 purple gold coins, everyone thought that the mermaid was going to belong to this old woman, so she directly offered 110,000 purple gold coins. The old woman continued to increase the price unwillingly, and she lowered her price again. In the end, the old woman had no choice but to quit unwillingly. She finally bought the mermaid for 200,000 amethyst coins, which made the hawker very happy. But he didn't know that he had the life to collect the money but not the life to spend it. 200,000 purple gold coins could make many people rob. "Dandan, follow this vendor closely and remember to get my things back. You can't let outsiders go, you know." Dandan came out of the space and said with a wicked smile, "Don't worry, master, you can rest assured when I do the work. Mainly safe." "Okay." As soon as Dandan left, Mu Qinjian took the mermaid back to Immortal Human. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 165. Chapter 165, The Road to Finding a Husband. 19. Dandan followed the hawker all the way, and as expected, several groups of people robbed him and forced him to hand over the purple gold coins. At first he was unwilling to hand it over, but he only handed it over when others wanted to kill him. After several people got the money, they immediately wanted to kill him, and Dandan appeared out of thin air. Hit several people unconscious with one slap. When the vendor saw that the last puppy could kill so many strong people, he was so frightened that he ran away. Dandan directly took away the opponent's storage bag, then opened it and looked at it, with a disgusted look on his face. "You poor devils are so poor." After finishing speaking, he looked at the few people who fell on the ground with a smirk on his face, stripped each other naked except for one piece and hung it on the tree. Looking at his masterpiece, Dandan left happily. Nangang Yuren looked at the mermaid beside her. "Xiao Qinjian, why did you buy it?" Mu Qinjian hugged it and placed it on the bed. "If I don't buy it, it will be eaten by those people, and I think it is quite destined to him, so I will bring it back temporarily." Si Yunqian said, "I heard that mermaid meat can restore people's appearance and make them immortal, so those women want to get it for this reason." and mermaids are generally difficult to catch. This little mermaid was probably injured. Caught. When Nangong heard that mermaid meat can live longer and restore appearance, he couldn't help complaining, "It looks exactly like a human being. How can you survive eating it? How is this different from a cannibal monster? Those people are afraid that they want to live forever crazy. Even if I knew it wasn't human, I couldn't say it. By the way, it can't talk." Mukingjian rubbed its head. "Don't worry. We won't hurt you. Do you have a name?" The mermaid raised her head and said nothing. Now she was sure that it could understand human speech. If she didn't speak now, she could only wait until it was willing to speak. At this time Dandan came back and stood up on his 2 feet. There is a storage bag in his mouth and 2 storage bags on each of his left and right paws. He is standing and walking without breaking the rules. Nangong saw its moving posture and said, "Ft, haha, this guy is so funny." Dandan put the storage bag on the table and looked at him with disgust. "You're just kidding. The master has brought everything back, but they are relatively poor." She took the storage bag and said, "Okay, thank you for your hard work. You go back first." Sci-Yunkin saw Dandan robbing so many storage bags and asked, "Did it rob someone else?" "Yes, that vendor was robbed, and Dandan robbed those people again, so the stuff came back." He smiled and said, "That's it? This is fine, but you can't take advantage of others." Seeing that it was getting late, the 2 of them left her residence to avoid misunderstanding. When she carried the mermaid into the space, the wood lingzu immediately flew in front of it and smelled it up and down. "Master, this guy has the aura of water spirit beads." "Well, I understand, this spirit bead belongs to it." Mu Lingzu glanced at it reluctantly. "Okay." Mukingjian filled a bathtub with water for it, put several bags of sea salt in it, and then put it in. The mermaid sank into the water and looked at her quietly. "You obediently recuperate in the space. When you are hungry, call them and tell them what you want to eat. There is a lot of food in the space. As long as you don't destroy the spiritual plants, I will obediently let you stay for the time being. Wait until you are healed. I will send you back to the sea." As soon as the mermaid heard that she was going to send him to the sea, he quickly sat up and took her hand. "Don't want. You can actually talk, you don't want anything." It blinked its beautiful eyes. "Don't send me back, I don't want to go back." Mukingjian looked at its tail. "Can you bear it if you don't go back to the sea? After all, there is no sea in my space, so I can't stay in this small place like this." It picked up her hand and bit her hand, and saw an ancient contract surrounding them. After the contract was concluded, its mermaid tail slowly grew legs. She turned around and took a set of clothes from the space to him. She thought such a beautiful mermaid would be a girl, but it turned out to be a boy. I gave him clothes, but he held them stupidly and didn't move. He didn't know how to wear them at all. She covered him with clothes with her eyes closed, and took him to Sci-Yunkin's place. In the end, he taught Mu Xing how to wear clothes. When he came back, he took out the water spirit bead from his body and handed it to her. "Sister, I gave it to you, I don't need it." He himself does not need the water spirit bead, but the Queen Mother asked him to protect the water spirit bead and not let the bad guys take it away, also because of this water spirit bead. His father, Emperor, and mother died in the hands of his bad uncles, and they didn't know that the water spirit pearl was always in his body. He was chased all the way before escaping into the sea. Now he is unable to fight against them with his own strength. He wants to become stronger and take revenge for his father, Emperor, and mother. After Mukingjian made a contract with him, she could naturally sense the changes in his heart. "Do you need me to take action? After all, some hatred may not wait until you grow up to take revenge. I also don't want you to grow up relying on hatred. Of course, you are willing to let them continue to live until you grow up and then take revenge. He held her hand, his eyes full of hope. Is that okay? They're awesome. She smiled and said, of course, while I am your master, we are still a family. I hope you can grow up happily. Of course, this is also your parents' wish. I believe they don't want you to become a person with only hatred. He put his arms around her waist and said, thank you, sister. Can you give me a name? Okay. From now on, you will have the same surname as me, and your name will be Mu-Sin Chen. You come from the world of stars and sea. Do you like it? Sin Chen. Mu-Sin Chen smiled brightly and said, sister, I like it very much. Thank you, sister. Mu Qingjian was so cute by him that she couldn't help but rub her head. Haha, as long as you like it, I'll go with you tomorrow. I'll deal with your enemy's affairs for you, so please take good care of me in the future. Okay, all right. Dandan looked at him, flew into her arms and cried loudly. Master, you have contracted a new spiritual pet. I feel like I am slowly losing my position as the number one pet. Sure enough, love can change, right? Woohoo. Juhu looked at it and howled loudly, with no tears in its eyes, and couldn't help but reach out and touch its eyes. Erden, can you be more realistic when you cry? You don't even have a single tear on your hairy face, you're just crying. Dandan saw that his trick had been exposed and slapped Juhu away with his paw. You fox, who do you call Erden? My name is Dandan, and you are Erden. Who do you dare to call me Erden? Juhu jumped to the side nimbly, you two are the same, together you are just a douchebag. Haha, if you can't beat my douchebag, you will be the most troubled every day. Dandan hugged Mu Qingjian aggrievedly, Master, I want to change my name. I don't want to be called Dandan. Why didn't you call that guy Juhu Erden? You gave him a nice name like Juhu. I'm not convinced. Okay, I'll change your name when you grow up. It pushed further and said, when I turn into a human in the future, my master will give me a powerful and domineering name, even more powerful and domineering than Juhu. Until she agreed, it ran up to Juhu and Bingfen with a proud face to show off, causing them to almost beat it in a group. Mu Qingjian looked at the scene in front of her. In the blink of an eye, she had so many contracted spirit beasts like family members. She liked her life very much. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 166. Chapter 166, The Road to Finding a Husband 20. The next morning, Mu Qingjian came to see her senior brother. Chu Feng saw her and said, Junior sister, is there anything wrong? You came to me early in the morning, but there is something important. She shook her head, it's nothing important. I just want to tell my senior brother that I will have some training later, so I may have to go for a few months or half a year. His expression became serious, are you alone? Why don't you take Yuan and Yunqian with you, one more person will provide you with safety. Their cultivation has increased greatly recently, and their foundation is unstable. I think they also need to practice hard. Ichiban. That's it, that's okay, I plan to go on an adventure in the deep sea. He was shocked when he heard it, what? The deep sea? There is a world of ferocious beasts and monsters. You are going to take risks there. She nodded affirmatively, yes, I have some things that I have to go to. He looked at Si Yunkin and Nangang Yuran, are you still willing to go? Although you are strong on land, the risk may still be quite high there. The two of them still said firmly, Master, we are willing to go. After all, we also want to know our own strength. Okay, You three, please be safe. This is a waterproof bead that allows you to breathe freely in the water. Thank you, Master, we will come back safely. He handed the water-avoiding spirit bead to Mukinjian. Junior sister, please take one too. It's best to be careful in everything. No need, senior brother, I can breathe freely in the water without the water-avoiding spirit bead. Because she already has the water spirit pearl, she can breathe freely in the water, just like on land. Seeing that Mukinjian refused to take it, he had no choice but to give up. Okay. Then be careful. The group of people sat on the spiritual pets and flew normally for more than 10 days. Waiting outside the city gate near the seaside, several people took the spirit beast back into the space. Mukinjian took out the token and the three of them successfully entered the city gate. The men here are tall and mighty, and most of them have wheat-colored skin. Nangong Yuren looked at their skin and was surprised. The people here have very dark skin, which is different from ours, but they are all very tall. Si Yunkin smiled and said, people here make a living by going out to sea to fish. Don't they tan their skin from being exposed to the sun all year round? We are not short either. If you develop those muscles, you can be like them. He shook his head and said, forget it. I think I'm good like this. Xiao Qinjian, when are we going to have an adventure in the deep sea? Let's take a day off and wander around the area, and then set off to the deep sea tomorrow. A middle-aged man heard them saying that they were going to the deep sea, so he came over. Young men, are you going to the deep sea? Si Yunkin looked at him defensively, what's wrong? Are you in trouble? The middle-aged man laughed and said, young man, don't be so nervous. The deep sea is so deep and chaotic now that no one dares to send you there. Mukinjian smiled and said, then let me ask you, what happened in the deep sea, and why no one dares to go there? He shook his head, then we don't know. After all, it's what happened under the sea. Anyway, once you get close to the deep sea, the ship will be overturned, and countless people will die tragically in the mouth of the beast. So there is no one here to send you. Go, how can you find the deep sea? Si Yunkin looked him up and down, you should know how to get there. After all, you have time to chat with us about this topic. Are you just saying these things to us? The middle-aged man stroked his beard and smiled sinisterly. You are really smart, little brother. I have friends who dare to go, but they can only send you near the deep sea. If you really want to go, we will send you there. The price is negotiable. 50,000 amethyst coins. After all, now if 5 people dare to get close, we are risking our lives. Nangong Yuren couldn't help but said, you are robbing. 50,000 amethyst coins, 10,000 amethyst coins can still be accepted a little bit. The middle-aged man shook his head, in the past, a large number of people might send you 1,000 amethyst coins, but that's not possible now. After all, it's a matter of life and death. Thank you then, we won't go. Mukinjian pulled them away. The middle-aged man cursed, poor guy, I thought a big fat sheep was coming, but in the end I didn't even get 50,000 amethyst coins. It's really unlucky. Si Yunkin looked at her, are we really not going? 50,000 amethyst coins is indeed a sky-high price. Most people can't afford that much money, but we really want to go to the deep sea. Mukinjian turned around and said, come out. You followed us all the way. Nangong Yuren looked around, who is it? Who is following us? At this time, a 16-year-old boy came out and said, if you want to go to the deep sea, I can take you there. I don't want you 50,000 purple gold coins, but you only need to give me 20,000 amethyst coins and I will give them to you. Go, I know where the deep sea is. Yes, as long as you send me there, I will give you 20,000 amethyst coins. Nangong Yuren pulled Mukinjian and said, Xiao Qinjian, can you trust this kid? Why do I feel so unreliable? Don't worry, I'm much more reliable than that person. I believe my vision will not be wrong. Several people followed him to a seaside outside the city, where a group of people were repairing a huge ship. The young man ran up to an old man and said a few words. The old man frowned. Then he walked up to them and said apologetically, "Sorry, we can't send you to the deep sea." The young man said unwillingly, "Grandpa, they are willing to give us 20,000 purple gold coins. With this money, everyone can live a good life." The old man shook his head, "Money is important, but your lives are more important. Old man, you just need to send us to the deep sea. We will give you 20,000 purple gold coins when we get on the boat tomorrow." People on the sidelines were talking, "Old village chief, let's send him away. As long as we don't get close to there, we will be fine." In the end, the old man had no choice but to nod and agree, "Okay, we'll send you there, and you have the money ready tomorrow." Mukinjian nodded and smiled, "Okay, then we will come find you tomorrow." The three of them came to an inn in the city, rested for a night, and planned to set off again tomorrow. Mu Xingchen came out of the space and said, "Sister, the death of my father and mother may have left the ferocious beasts nearby unmanaged in the deep sea. My uncle may ask them to avenge me after he comes back, and they are also taking advantage of me. He only dared to kill us when he was not at home. I understand. You have been recovering in space recently. When you come out of the deep sea, you don't have to worry about me." "Okay, sister." He was lying in the bathtub, feeling extremely peaceful deep down in his heart because he cared about her. The deep sea is now in chaos. When the new king took office, countless mermaids resisted and were killed. All the mermaids had no choice but to recognize him as the king. Now they can only take one step at a time. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 167. Chapter 167, The Road to Finding a Husband 2-1. Mukinjian and her party got on the boat and sailed on the endless sea. Nangang Yuren's face was pale and he felt dizzy. Si Yunkin was vomiting all the time, and Si Yunkin looked worried. "What's wrong with you, are you still feeling uncomfortable?" She took out a bottle of elixir from the space and said, "Give him some and he'll be fine. He's probably seasick." Si Yunkin took the elixir, took out a water bag from the storage bag and fed him the elixir. After taking the medicine, he managed to feel better. He sat in a chair and said helplessly, "Why don't you two get seasick? It's just me who gets seasick. It's so unfair." She looked at him with a disgusted expression, "Who looks like you? You are as delicate as a little girl. It's a pity that you don't become a girl." "I don't want to be a girl, I'm a boy. Isn't it good to be a boy?" At this time, the young man came over and said seriously, "The deep sea is just ahead, we can only send you here." "Okay, thank you, we'll get off the boat right away." The old village chief looked at them and said, "Guests, be careful all the way. We can only send you here. The small island not far ahead is the border of the deep sea." Mukinjian handed the amethyst coins to the old village chief, "Thank you for your hard work. This is the 20,000 amethyst coins I promised you." The old village chief took it and took a look. "Thank you, Miss Mu, then we will go back." "Okay." A few people flew up with their swords, said goodbye to them, and headed for the deep sea. When a few people reached the top of the deep sea, they quickly sank into the bottom of the sea. Mukinjian brought Xing Chen out. He transformed into a mermaid and led the way. "Sister, follow me." The three of them were flying freely in the water. Because they were in the sea, neither Si Yunkin nor Nangang Yuren could be as relaxed as they were on land. She has no effect. After all, she has water spirit beads in her body, so she is faster in the water. This made the two of them envious. Her strength was truly unfathomable. When a few people were flying towards the deep sea, Dozens of huge ferocious beasts intercepted them in front of them. Mu Xing Chen looked solemn and said, "Sister, these ferocious beasts are the men of my bad uncle. I was hunted by them in the first place." Mu Qingjian looked at Nangang Yuren and the two of them. "Yuran, I'll leave Yunjian and the others to you. I'll deal with the mermaid behind." A mermaid swam out and said, "It's really powerful. You can actually detect my existence. I didn't expect that the little prince would have help from your masters on land. But this sea is our world. No matter how strong you are, you can't kill me like you can on land." Dozens of ferocious beasts exposed their sharp teeth and attacked Yun's thousands of people. Nangang Yuren drew out his sword and said with disdain, "How dare you be so arrogant with just a few fish? I won't kill you for dinner and dinner." Yunkin held the sword. "Of course, be careful and don't be careless. The mere man can fight dozens of ferocious beasts when he sees two people, which is really extraordinary." Mu Qingjian raised the sword and said, "Your opponent is me. If you are still distracted during the battle, you may think you have lived too long." The mere man snorted coldly, "You are just a human being, and if you dare to speak arrogantly, you are simply seeking death." After saying that, he attacked her, but she dodged him. Mu Xing Chen saw them mingling together and quickly stepped forward to help. By the time Yunkin and his two men finished dealing with the ferocious beasts, they also suffered many minor injuries. After Mu Qingjian knocked down the mermaid, "Xiao Chen, I'll leave it to you." Mu Xing Chen swam up to him and said, "My father, the emperor, and my mother treated you well, but you betrayed them. Today I will let you accompany them." The mere man looked frightened and said, "Don't kill my little prince, I am willing to submit to you." Mu Xing Chen dug out his inner elixir without any expression and crushed it into pieces. At this moment, his hatred was just like the disappeared inner elixir, but it was not enough. The person who really killed his father, the queen, and his mother was still alive. Mu Qingjian walked to his side and said, "Let's keep walking. They will all be punished today." "Well, I understand, brother, thank you for your help." Nangang Yuren rubbed his head, "Haha, you're welcome, it's a small problem." The group encountered many ferocious beasts along the way, but Nangang Yuren and Yunkin were able to neutralize most of them. The two of them fought harder and harder. After arriving outside the deep-sea palace, a middle-aged merman slowly swam out and looked at Mu Xing Chen coldly. "I didn't expect that after you left for a few months and brought back some masters, I should kill you myself." Mu Xing Chen stared at him with a fierce expression. "Where is my uncle? Where has he gone?" The middle-aged merman laughed loudly. "You're talking about that guy from Netherworld. He actually wants to kill me, a guy who doesn't know whether to live or die. A man even wants to kill me, a guy who doesn't overestimate his own capabilities. Do you think you have 3 continents with you? If you are strong enough, you can kill me, but you underestimate me." Without changing his expression, he continued to ask, "Where is my uncle? What did you do to him?" The middle-aged merman waved his hand, and several mermaids pulled 4 iron chains and pulled out a young and injured merman. Mu Xing Chen shouted with a distressed look on his face after seeing him. "Uncle!" The young fishman slowly raised his head, thinking that he was hallucinating. After he came back, he was told that his sister and brother-in-law died tragically at the hands of men, and his only nephew also died tragically outside. He desperately wanted to kill the people in front of him to avenge his sister and the others, but in the end he was no match for them. Now that Mu Xing Chen was back intact, he shook his head. "Xiao Hai, leave here quickly and live well." "Uncle, my sister will save you for me. She is my master now. I will live well, and you must live well." Yu Ming couldn't believe that he had made a contract with someone else and became someone else's spiritual pet. He lowered his head in blame, blaming himself for his inability to turn his nephew into a contracted beast. Mu Qingjian didn't want to waste time, so she flashed out and hit the merman with a palm. The other party was immediately crippled by her and fell to the ground vomiting blood. This scene shocked everyone. Such terrible humans actually deposed their new king with one move. She stretched out her hand and untied the chains of Netherworld, and looked at the other mermaids coldly. If anyone else wants to die, just come over here. Don't do it one by one, it's too troublesome, just do it together. A group of mermaids slowly took a few steps back. They were not stupid, so why did they want to go up and die? Seeing that no one came up, she turned to Mu Xin Chen and said, "Xiao Chen, I'll leave the man on the ground to you." He held a dagger and stabbed him to death without hesitation, stabbing him countless times. Until Yu Ming couldn't stand it any longer, he walked over to him and hugged him. "Xiaohe is already dead, stop stabbing him." Mu Xin Chen threw away the dagger, hugged him and cried loudly. This time, his hatred was completely let go as his enemy died. After crying for a while, he blushed and exited the embrace of Netherworld. "I'm sorry, uncle, for making you laugh. Silly boy, you still have your uncle here, so you should live happily. This matter has come to an end, and the deep sea has returned to its original calm. Thanks to Amiagia00958 for the monthly ticket, thank you for your support." End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Lugo Meyer. Chapter 168. Chapter 168 I finally found you. The people changed into clean clothes and enjoyed the warm hospitality of the mermaids. Yu Ming looked at Mu Qingjian. "Are you the master?" Sister Xiao Hai said. "Thank you for saving my Xiao Hai. I am very grateful to you. But I have a request. Please terminate the contract with Xiao Hai. After all, he is my sister's only child." She smiled and rubbed Mu Xingqian's head. "If he is willing to stay in the deep sea, I will not force him to follow me. I am also willing to let him go free. All this depends on him. Let's see how Xiao Chen chooses." Mu Xingqian walked to her side and held her hand. "Uncle, I will not terminate the contract with my sister. I want to be with my sister. The revenge has been avenged. I want to see the outside world. And uncle, my name is not Xiaohe now. I have been reborn. Now my name is Mu Xingqian." Yu Ming looked at him with a firm look on his face, and he knew that it would be useless to say more. "Okay. I understand. Xiaohe, uncle hopes that you can come back when you are tired. The deep sea has always been your home. Do you know? Uncle will always wait for you to come back, as long as you live well." He smiled and nodded. "I will live well. Uncle, don't worry about me. My sister is very good. I like being with my sister very much, and I will come back to see you." After several people stayed in the deep sea for a while, they saw that the deep sea returned to its previous calmness, and they left with peace of mind. The three of them experienced in other sea areas and encountered many strange treasures, and their cultivation levels also stabilized. After Lu stayed in the sea for several months, several people finally went out to sea, and they all felt that the gravity on their bodies had become lighter. Nangang Yuran was riding on the armored liger. "Ah! I can finally leave here. I feel like I am turning into a fish every day when I soak in the sea." Si Yunkin sat behind him. "Just be content. You have now advanced to the middle stage of the purple level, which shows that this deep sea experience has been very rewarding." He shook his head in dissatisfaction and sighed. "In the end, I'm not the worst. Sigh, it's too difficult for me." Mu Qingjian laughed. "Okay. I'm content with what I have. It's been more than 5 months since I came here. It's time for us to go back, otherwise senior brother and the others will be anxious." After flying for 10 days, several people returned to Xianyuman one after another. Head Chufeng was very pleased to see that his disciple's strength had reached the purple level. That night she was lying on the bed, suddenly feeling very sleepy, and slowly closed her eyes and fell asleep. Just when she fell asleep, a mysterious man wearing a mask appeared in her room and reached out to touch her face. "Ching-er, I haven't seen you for a long time. You are getting stronger and stronger. I was almost discovered by you, which really surprises me." Just when he wanted to reach out and touch her face again, Mukinjian suddenly opened her eyes, punched him, and he quickly flew back. She used all her spiritual power to hit him, and the whole house was leveled by her. The fight between the two leveled the surrounding area, and soon shocked the people of Xianyuman. Unfortunately, by the time they arrived at the scene, Mukinjian and the others were no longer around. When he was about to leave, Mukinjian quickly followed him. She chased him, and the two came to a deserted deep forest. She shouted angrily, "Han Yexuan, you bastard, I know it's you. If you can, just keep running. Don't do it again in this life. I'm back. I'll go back and find someone to get married and have children. I'll let you have a prairie above your head. You can run away." After scolding her, she quickly turned around to leave. Han Yeshuan appeared directly behind her and hugged her. "No. I don't allow you to marry anyone else." Mukinjian turned around, punched and kicked him. "Run away. Aren't you very capable? You don't care who I marry, anyway, I will be someone else's wife tomorrow. Just go." Han Yexuan let her beat him until she finished speaking and relieved herself. He lowered his head and blocked her mouth, refusing to let go until she bit her lip. Until she lay weakly in his arms, the tears in her eyes could no longer be controlled and flowed down. When he saw it, he hugged her tightly with a guilty look on his face, and kissed her tears sadly. "Ching-er, I'm sorry, please stop crying." She lay in his arms and cried out in frustration. "Han Yexuan, you bastard, you know how I survived these 4 years. You clearly knew that I was here, but you didn't come out to see me. Is your heart made of stone? You stole my heart and then walked away. You left me alone to miss you for 4 years. I came here and searched for you. You found me but didn't meet me, you bastard, I don't need you. I'll take care of everything, and I said I'm capable of doing anything for you." Han Yexuan hugged her tightly and wiped the tears from her face. "I'm sorry Ching-er, I miss you too, but I don't want to see you hurt because of me. Please forgive my selfishness. I won't do it again. Please stop crying Ching-er. You cry so much that my heart hurts. I don't know. I'm so far away from you, but it makes you so sad. I'm sorry, Ching-er, I won't be like this again, be good, don't cry." She hugged him and cried in his arms for a long time. At this moment, she looked like a normal girl. She took off all disguises, all the strong and brave self, and only showed a soft look in front of him. She lay on his chest and bit his shoulder hard. The blood stained his white clothes red. Han Yexuan was not dissatisfied at all and allowed her to vent her emotions and bite him. Mukinjian looked at him without saying a word and raised her head. "Why don't you stay away, won't it hurt you?" "It doesn't hurt, but my heart hurts. I didn't know that I made you feel so wronged and sad. I deserve to be beaten, scolded, and punished. Ching-er did nothing wrong." She reluctantly opened his clothes to reveal the wound on his shoulder, took out medicine from the space and applied it on his wound. "I don't feel sorry for you, I just can't stand it." He smiled softly, "Okay. I know, Ching-er, are you willing to forgive me?" She turned her head and snorted coldly, "Huh, do you remember what you said? You said you would marry me in 1 year, but you ran away for 4 years, you big liar." Han Yexuan looked guilty, "I'm sorry Ching-er, I was forcibly sent back to the ancient realm of gods at that time. Things happened to be busy in the ancient realm of gods, and I was busy dealing with these things, so I couldn't go back. I'm looking for a way back, and I will definitely go back if I can. But I haven't found it for several years, but I've been thinking about you. When I sensed you in the ancient secret realm, I rushed over to see you as soon as possible, but my identity did not allow me to stay here for too long. Because I have many enemies, and there are even more people who want me dead. So I want to protect you until you become stronger. After Mukinjian knew the whole story, she leaned into his arms. Don't do this again. You have to tell me and don't carry it alone. I can protect myself and I will become stronger and stronger. Do you understand? He rubbed her head with doting eyes. Okay, will Ching'er forgive me? When you come to the ancient world of gods, I will marry you, and we will never be separated again, okay? She said arrogantly, well. I will forgive you this time, and there will be no next time. I will practice hard and step into the ancient world of gods to prove that I have the strength to stand by your side, and I can also protect you. My Ching'er will always be the best. I believe you will be stronger than me one day. The two of them cuddled each other, talking about their experiences and thoughts over the past few years, until after dawn. Han Yexuan kissed her forehead and hugged her reluctantly. Ching'er, I'm waiting for you in the ancient world of gods. Take good care of yourself. Mukinjian hugged his waist and said, don't worry. Just wait for me in the ancient realm of gods. Looking at his leaving figure, she smiled. At this moment, she finally found him. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 169. Chapter 169. I thought something happened to her. When Mukinjian disappeared, the sect was in chaos because her residence was razed to the ground. Nangang Yuran and Si-Yunkin are looking for her, and the disciples of the sect are looking for her. Everyone thought she was dead and buried underground. Nangang Yuran's eyes were red, and he knelt on the ground to look for her body. Xiao Qinjian, you must not let anything happen to you. The leader couldn't believe the scene before him. His junior sister might have been killed. This person's strength was extremely terrifying. When everyone thought that Mukinjian was dead, they were all very sad. She came back and looked at the disciples in the ruins with a sad look on her face. Well, what are you looking for? I don't have any treasures here. Everyone heard her voice and quickly raised their heads. Uncle, she's fine, she's still alive. Nangang Yuran stepped forward and hugged her hard. Xiao Qinjian, you scared us to death. We thought you were killed by a strong person. Mukinjian tried her best to break away from his arms and breathed in fresh air. Ahem, I wasn't killed by the strong man, I was going to be suffocated to death by you. He took a few steps back in embarrassment and touched his head in embarrassment. I'm sorry, Xiao Qinjian, I was too anxious. Si-Yunkin walked up to her and said, Qinjian, are you okay? What happened to you here? Why did you end up like this? I'm fine, you don't have to worry. The head brother also walked over anxiously. Yes. Junior sister, how come your place has been razed to the ground? Is there a strong person who wants to kill you? Tell me who it is, senior brother? How dare you sneak into our immortal human to hurt people? Really, it's a place where we can come and leave whenever we want. She knew they had misunderstood, so she had no choice but to explain. Ahem, well, it was caused by my practice. No one came to assassinate me. A few people were stunned after hearing this, so the ruined residence was all her own fault. It takes a lot of hatred to do such a thing, which shows that her strength is also very terrifying. Senior brother, he frowned and looked troubled. So, junior sister, if you want to try your own skills, you can't do it like this. How much will it cost to repair it? Mukinjian immediately took out a storage bag and said, Senior brother, I destroyed this. I spent money to repair it myself. I don't have to worry about the sect spending money to repair it for me. I will pay for it, senior brother. He accepted it unceremoniously. Haha, okay, you can stay in Yujuk Pavilion for a while in the next few days. Senior brother will take care of your funeral affairs. Remember not to destroy my Yujuk Pavilion. Haha, no problem, I promise that whatever you go in will be what you come out of. He turned to the disciples and said, okay, let's continue to practice. Your uncle is fine. Everyone left one after another after hearing this. The head brother did not forget to say a word when he left. Junior sister, you have to control your power next time. If it's okay, senior brother, I'll go back first. Nangang Yuran and Si Yunkin saw that she was fine and left with peace of mind. Mu Qingjian touched her nose and reluctantly left here, heading to Yujuk Pavilion. When she came to Yujuk Pavilion, she ran directly to the alchemy room without leaving the door. No one knew what she was doing in the alchemy room. She didn't come out of the alchemy room until half a month later, when the place where she lived was repaired. The head senior brother looked at her and said, Junior sister, what have you been doing recently? She waved her hand, and bottles of elixirs were placed in front of him. Senior brother, I'm refining elixirs. Didn't I promise you last time? Now I have refined the elixirs for you for several years. If you don't have elixirs anymore, don't tell me again. Chu Feng casually picked up a bottle, opened it and smelled it, with a surprised look on his face. It's really an elixir. Junior sister didn't expect you to really know how to make elixirs. Is there anything else you can't do? There are still a lot of things I don't know, I'll learn it gradually and I'll go back to rest if nothing happens. I haven't rested for half a month, so I need to take a good rest. He put the elixir away and said with a smile, that's really lucky for you, junior sister. Then you have a good rest and see senior brother if you need anything. Yes, I understand, senior brother. Ever since meeting Han Yexuan, she knew that she was still too weak. Although this ring prevented others from noticing her strength, she knew that her strength might have exceeded the peak of the purple level long ago, but the strange thing was that she could not go to the ancient world like her master. This made her very curious. She didn't even know what level her own strength was. In other words, she may not be able to go to the ancient world of gods by relying on her strength. What she needs to go to the ancient world of gods is not known yet. She can only continue to practice slowly and then see. She also forgot to ask Han Yexuan how she could enter the ancient world of gods. Even though she knew that she was already a strong person in this place, she still did not relax her vigilance. She still practices very hard every day. After all, practice is never ending. She believes that as she gets stronger, she will find a way to the ancient world of gods. Her hard training made Nangang Yuran and Si Yunkin work harder. After all, she was stronger than them but worked so hard, so how could they lag so far behind? Also, the three of them said they wanted to go to the ancient realm of the gods together, but they couldn't let her go alone first. The more Lu Yanyeo thought about it, the angrier she became. Remembering that her spiritual beast was taken away by Mu Qingjian half a year ago, she became even more unwilling. You must know that she became so strong only because of the contract with the nine-tailed white fox. She also knew that the nine-tailed white fox was definitely a divine beast now. If the contract was still there, her cultivation would not have declined greatly. Now her cultivation has already retreated to the early stage of the purple level. Thinking about this, she wanted to eat Mu Qingjian. Suddenly she thought of something and smiled strangely. Since she can't get the nine-tailed beast, let her not get it either. It is not that there are no powerful people in the immortal ancient realm. Some of them don't bother to be famous, but if they know that Mu Qingjian has a divine beast, I believe there will be many strong people trying to grab it. After all, contracted beasts can enter the ancient world of gods, which is something everyone will be excited about. She wants to see if she can survive this time. Without the beast, she will become as strong as herself. One night, rumors began to spread in the immortal ancient world that Mukinjian of the immortal Yu sect owned a divine beast. She became the strongest person in the purple rank in less than a year, all because of the divine beast's great improvement in cultivation. This incident caused many strong men to come to Xianyu sect to find out what was going on. In order to protect Mukinjian's safety, the strong men of the sect also secretly protected her. Suddenly one day, a large number of powerful people came to Xianyuman, and Lu Yanyeo followed an old man with extraordinary strength. One after another, powerful people also came to Xianyuman, have to watch the show, and have to see if they could have a good luck contract with the divine beast. Everyone came with the same purpose. Chu Feng, the head of Xianyue, saw so many powerful men that he could only ask his disciples to entertain them to prevent them from deliberately looking for trouble. Even the ancestors of the Xianxu sect and the Xianling sect are here. After all, they are still very impressed by Mukinjian and want to see how strong she is now. Thank you Qingning for voting for a monthly vote, thank you. 2 monthly votes. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 170. Chapter 170 The Fight for the Nine-Tailed Beast. Nangang Yuran and Si Yunqian found her and asked her to find a safe place to hide. Xiao Qinjian, hide quickly and leave the sect temporarily and don't come back. We will take you away from immortal human immediately. We will come back when the storm subsides. There is no time to explain. Let's leave quickly. She looked at their nervous faces and asked curiously, what's wrong with you? Don't worry. Explain clearly first why I want to hide. Someone really wants to kill me. If you don't explain clearly, he will not leave Xianyuman suddenly. Nangang Yuran said nervously, you don't know that during the month you were in seclusion, the entire immortal ancient world suddenly spread rumors overnight that you owned a divine beast. It was also said that people who own divine beasts can cultivate to reach the peak of the purple level. Then enter the ancient world of gods, so now the powerful people from the entire ancient world have come to the immortal human, and they are all going to your sacred beasts. Si Yunqian on the side nodded, that's true, so master asked us to take you out of here and hide outside for a while. Let's get out of here quickly. Otherwise, they will come to your door. Mukinjian realized the seriousness of the matter, so they all came here to steal my spiritual pet, so it's even more impossible for me to leave. This matter happened because of me. So if I don't come forward, they will definitely take this as an excuse. It's no use using my excuse to cause trouble for our Xianyuman, now that they already know about it. Let's go. Let's go take a look and see what they want to do. Hiding is not my style. If you want to steal my sacred beast, you have to see if they have that ability. The two of them saw that what she said was indeed right. Even if she could escape the first grade of junior high school, she could not escape the 15th grade. It was better to go and see what they wanted to do. The ancestor beside Lu Yanyeo said seriously, where are the Mukinjian people now? Do you want to cover up a thief who stole Yanyeo's divine beast? Chu Feng smiled bitterly and said, Senior Lu, it's not that I don't want to hand over Mukinjian, but she has gone to practice recently, and I don't know where she is. How about you guys come to see her again next time? This time she is indeed no longer a section inside the door. Ancestor Lu was furious, and the pressure from the peak of the purple rank made everyone suffocate. Do you think I'm like a 3-year-old child? Master Chu insists on speaking for a thief, so don't blame me for hurting someone. He was directly suppressed and suffered internal injuries, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. She is not in Xianyuman, why should Senior Lu keep pushing her so hard? Suddenly a female voice sounded, stop. He stopped coercing and looked up at the 3 people who suddenly appeared outside the door. Mu Qingjian and Nangang Yuan appeared in the immortal human temple. Lu Yanyao possessed her and said, "The woman wearing the mask is Mu Qingjian, she is the one who stole my sacred beast nine-tailed white fox. So now the strength has increased greatly and is unfathomable." He looked at her with a disdainful expression and said coldly, "You are Mu Qingjian, the person who used despicable means to take away Yanyao's divine beast. Tell me, what despicable means did you use to take away other people's divine beasts, and what other despicable means did you use? What means to hide one's own cultivation?" She smiled coldly, "What you said is funny. Why didn't you say that she forced the spirit beast to make a contract with her, and in the end it was the spirit beast that voluntarily made a contract with me? Do I count this as stealing? Every spirit beast has its own thinking of it, it doesn't count as stealing if it chooses me, and it's not that noble if she forcibly contracts a spiritual beast." Ancestor Lu slammed the table so hard that it shattered into pieces. "How dare you, a junior like you, dare to utter such arrogant words? You will hand over the sacred beast to me today, otherwise don't blame me for bullying the young. No matter how powerful you are, can you alone deal with so many masters here? I advise you to hand over the sacred beast quickly to avoid unnecessary casualties." Mu Qingjian chuckled and said, "Haha, you think I'm easy to bully, don't you? Juhu is my spiritual pet now, and I won't hand it over. I'm happy to fight if you want, but don't say I don't respect my elders then. Loving children is a shame." Lu Yanyao pointed at her, "This thief, hand it over quickly, or don't blame us for taking action." At this time, Juhu came out of the space and transformed into a divine beast, with its huge 9 tails raised high. It looked down at Lu Yanyao, "Old woman, you forced me to make a contract, and now you still have the nerve to find someone to fight for me. Don't we spiritual pets have the freedom to choose our own masters? Let me tell you, who of you are here today? If you dare to hurt my master, I will never get around you." Lu Yanyao's face turned red when she was told, "Don't forget, I am your former master. What did she feed you? That makes you look like this. You must know that if I didn't save you, you would have died long ago." Juhu looked at the old woman who was full of lies and said, "You lied. You stole me away by force. You still have the nerve to say save me." Ancestor Lu looked angry, "Stop talking, just break her contract and make a new contract with the divine beast." More than a dozen purple-level masters surrounded Mu Qingjian, and Nangang Yuan and Si Yunqian quickly flew to help. "Xiao Qingjian, let's help you." Yan Cheng also came to her side, "Uncle, I will help you too." When the head of Chu Feng saw them robbing the sacred beasts openly, he said angrily, "What do you think of our immortal human? Everyone, please stop them." There was a fierce fight at the scene, but the rest of the spectators did not take any action and just watched from the sidelines. Mu Qingjian saw that her immortal human disciple was injured, she no longer cared about hiding any strength, and directly summoned Dandan and Bingfeng. "Dandan and Bingfeng, let me destroy them and let them know how powerful you are." When everyone saw 2 more mythical beasts coming out, everyone was shocked. The disciples of Xian Yuman quickly gave way. Ancestor Lu's face changed greatly when he saw that she actually had 3 divine beasts. "Damn Lu Yanyao, you didn't even know the details about her. Originally, they could barely deal with 1 divine beast, but now with 3 divine beasts, they would definitely die." He looked at the purple-level powerhouse who fell on the ground and said quickly, "Let's forget about it. Maybe Lu Yanyao misunderstood you, so there is no need for us to continue fighting." What else he wanted to say was blown away by his balls, and he flew out of the immortal Pyrrhus like a meteor. "If you say you won't hit me, I won't. I'm here now. If I don't hit you, I won't call you Datan." Everyone was frightened when they saw Ancestor Lu being beaten away, and they all wanted to run away. He was blown away by Bingfeng's wings. When the people of Xianling sect and Xianxiu sect saw this scene, they all knew that Xianyu sect was about to change. The people in Xianyumen cheered excitedly when they saw those people being beaten away. Now no one dares to bully their immortal human anymore. The other strong men originally wanted to come over and pick up the slack. Now that they saw this scene, they also left one after another. After all, they could not defeat Mukinjian and her 3 divine beasts. End of this chapter.